Italy woke up to the scent of a great cycling day, and the Giro Dell'Emilia once again proved why it is one of the most demanding and soulful classics on the calendar. Between Mirandola and the Basilica of San Luca, a page was written that no Mexican fan will ever forget. Isaac Del Toro, the young UAE Team Emirates rider, delivered an impressive performance filled with character, intelligence and ambition. In the absence of Tadej Pogacar, the team placed its trust in the rider from Ensenada, and he responded with a demonstration of strength worthy of a veteran. The race, almost 200 kilometres long with a route packed with traps, rolling climbs and the fearsome final ascent, was a complete examination of endurance. From the start there was tension in the air. Everyone knew that the final climb to the sanctuary of San Luca would reveal who truly had the legs and the courage to win. 4 earlier climbs, San Lorenzo in Collina, Mongardino, Monzuno and Monte Calvo, gradually reduced the peloton, stripping away energy and preparing the ground for a finale of pure resistance. The UAE riders appeared at the front early on, setting a hard tempo that revealed their intentions. Without Pogacar, the team had to reinvent itself and prove that its strength did not depend on a single name. Del Toro remained calm, sheltered, reading every movement with patience, knowing his moment would come on that ramp seemingly rising into the sky. Each passage through Bologna's finish line turned up the pressure. The crowd filled the roadside, shouting, waving flags, waiting for the favourites to move. Historic. That was the feeling in the air. A Mexican with a real chance of winning an Italian classic of prestige. With Jay Vine, Adam Yates and Rafał Majka as guardians, UAE Team Emirates kept everything under control. Everything pointed to a battle decided on the very last metre. Amid the heat, the noise and the strategy, Isaac Del Toro was beginning to write a story that would turn promise into reality. The race began at a controlled rhythm, but in the Giro Dell'Emilia, calm never lasts long. The first kilometres allowed the day's breakaway to form, the usual band of dreamers daring to defy the odds. It took time, but finally 5 riders escaped. 3 from Team Picnic Post NL, Enzo Leinze, Guy Leemrijs and Jacob Busch, joined by Spaniards Sinuhe Fernandez and Pablo Garcia. A mix of youth and ambition, yet the peloton granted them little freedom. Behind, the major teams kept the leash tight, aware that the final circuit would punish the exhausted. Panamanian Carlos Samudio fought between groups for many kilometres before being caught by the relentless pace set by EF Education and UAE. Gradually, the front group began to crack. First the Spaniards dropped, then Leinze, leaving only Busch and Leemrijs defending the dream until the last 50 kilometres. In the pack, UAE's work was clear. Majka dictated tempo, Vine controlled attacks, Yates monitored rivals. Del Toro stayed perfectly placed, spending nothing unnecessary, a sign of tactical maturity rare for his age. Each climb echoed with the cheers of Italian fans, some for their own, some already acknowledging the Mexican making his mark. When the peloton crossed the Bologna finish line for the first time, the gap had vanished. EF and UAE had neutralised every move. The air grew heavier, the pace sharper, faces tense. The kilometres seemed twice as long. At that point, it was no longer about teams, but about legs. The earlier climbs had done their job, and the main group was reduced to a handful of favourites. Only the final circuit remained, and the certainty that only the strongest would reach San Luca with a shot at glory. Isaac Del Toro was still there, focused, breathing pure cycling, sensing that his moment was getting closer. With 50 kilometres to go, the Giro entered its decisive phase, when every move can change everything. The breakaway was caught and the peloton turned into a battlefield. At the front, UAE Team Emirates took full control. Rafał Majka tightened the pace on the early ramps of the circuit, eliminating riders one by one. Behind him, Jay Vine and Adam Yates protected Del Toro, who rode among the top 10, calm and composed. Mikel Honoré of EF Education launched the first attack, gaining a few seconds, but UAE reacted without panic. Their teamwork was flawless. Vine chasing moves, Majka keeping rhythm, Yates closing gaps. Del Toro simply had to endure and wait. Others tried. Brambilla, Lemon. but the lead group remained compact. Heat, fatigue and tension mixed into a suffocating cocktail. Each lap through the finish line was a psychological blow, the crowd roaring louder each time. UAE still had 3 men in front, rare so late in the race, proof of their authority. By 40 kilometres to go, the selection was clear. Del Toro, Pidcock, Lenny Martinez, Egan Bernal, Primoz Roglic, Yates and a few others. Attempts to break free were neutralised, a tense calm before the storm. On the 3rd lap, Vine finally dropped, leaving Del Toro as the sole UAE contender. At that moment, the Mexican took command. The circuit was perfect for drama. Narrow curves, sharp gradients, and fans shouting his name. Just a few kilometres remained before the final climb began. That wall where only the brave can write history. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. The peloton launched into the last ascent to the sanctuary of San Luca, that wall of Bologna that seems endless, with ramps touching 18% and an atmosphere worthy of a Grand Tour. Italian fans lined every corner, shouting as the favourites prepared to decide it all. Tom Pidcock of Q, 36.5, struck first. With a violent change of pace, he attacked with just over a kilometre left, tearing the group apart. For a brief instant, it looked as if no one could follow. But Isaac Del Toro waited, composed, then rose from the saddle and unleashed his response. The crowd erupted as he bridged across with astonishing power. Side by side, Pidcock, the Olympic mountain bike champion, against Del Toro, the young Mexican chasing his own chapter of glory. Metre by metre, they matched each other, neither giving in. Behind them, Martinez, Bernal and Roglic tried to close, but it was too late. In the final 200 metres, Pidcock sprinted first, desperate to finish it, yet Del Toro did not flinch. His pedalling was fluid and relentless. He overtook with authority in the closing metres and crossed the line arms raised, shouting with pure emotion. Victory for Mexico, victory for UAE, victory for a rider who no longer races to learn but to win. On the podium, emotion was written across his face. He knew exactly what it meant, succeeding his teammate Tadej Pogacar as winner of the Giro Dell'Emilia. Historic. No Mexican had ever won this classic, and symbolic because he had done it by defeating a world-class rival. As the crowd applauded, Isaac smiled with disbelief and pride. He had conquered San Luca and earned his place among the names that matter. When Isaac Del Toro raised his arms on San Luca, he wasn't just celebrating a win. He was marking a turning point in his career and in Mexican cycling history. What he achieved in the Giro Dell'Emilia 2025 was far more than a result. It was a statement. He showed composure, tactical awareness, and strength beyond his years. Every curve, every acceleration revealed that his talent is not a distant promise, but a living reality. UAE Team Emirates found in him more than a future leader, a rider who takes responsibility, reads races, and wins with brains as well as legs. Without Pogacar, the team needed a reference point, and Del Toro provided it. His triumph in Emilia confirmed that when the road tilts upward, he can be decisive. The impact of his victory crossed borders. In Mexico, social media exploded with messages. News outlets highlighted his feat, and fans hailed him as the new face of Latin American cycling. In Europe, commentators agreed on one thing. Del Toro has something special, a mix of instinct and calm reminiscent of the great climbers of the past. This success is no accident but the result of months of learning and silent work, adapting perfectly to the European rhythm. On the podium beside Pidcock and Lenny Martinez, Isaac looked fully aware of the magnitude of the moment. There were no grand gestures, only a gaze that said everything. He knows this is just the beginning. The Giro Dell'Emilia places him among riders capable of winning on the biggest stages and opens doors to a future full of expectation and opportunity. Cycling occasionally offers days that condense years of effort, and in Bologna, on that cobbled climb that has crowned legends, Isaac Del Toro lived his own. A victory with soul, with intelligence, and with Mexican pride. A day that will remain in the memory of the sport and confirms that UAE's jersey has found a new name to add to its history. Isaac Del Toro, the young man who conquered San Luca, and earned the respect of the entire cycling world.